So I had seen on X there was something going on, and I don't spend, like I said, I don't spend a ton of time there. And when I see things, I kind of scan just so I can kind of get a feel for what's going on. But there was some things. I think you had said something about some video you had shared with Candace, or some question around that. Tell us what's going on with that whole thing, with the video, with what's happening, and why you think people are really out to get you. And I think you said Candace had blocked you too, and why we are seeing so much of this takedown culture.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. The easiest way that I can describe it, or what's happened, is this video, this 11-minute and 16-second video, shows everything. It starts with Henry Dell's is one of his first couple of questions, and then it goes all the way until essentially you see George Zinn going underneath the Hall of Flags, or right there. He's about to where the Hall of Flags tunnel is, right by the tent on the right hand side. That's where it stops. Uninterrupted coverage, just on record. You can imagine the gold mine of what is on this video.
Right.
It's got people doing stuff in the background underneath the tunnel. It's got everything that the security team was doing. It's got everything that the AV team was doing. It's got the actual thing happening to Charlie getting tackled. It's got the SUV. You can look through the window of the Hall of Flags and see the SUV drive away with the doors all shut. It's a gold mine. And you can read the situation with what's happening with everyone, what they're doing, all the communication. They're all on their phones. They being Turning Point USA, Blake, Neff, Mikey McCoy, Andrew, forget his name. I mean, everything.
Colvett? I don't think he was there.
He wasn't there.
This is no. This is another guy named Andrew. He's the one who's wearing the white T-shirt and khaki shorts.
Okay.
His first name is Andrew as well. He's something to do.
Mikey McCoy's reaction was so weird.
And you have this video, Blake?
Mm-hmm.
You're in possession of this video. So you're the one who got the video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And have we seen that?
Oh yeah. It's basically.
Pull it up? I mean, it's kind of long, but
yeah,
do you have like
just don't? It's on my X page. I've done a lot of posts on it. So anyways, I broke the news on the 24th, September 24th, or it was essentially the 23rd is when I texted Mel, and then Mel said, "Hey, Candace wants to talk to you now." So on the 24th is when I FaceTimed Candace, and that's what is on my page, where sitting in this chair, FaceTiming her on this screen right here, and then the TV behind me, where we're going through this whole thing. I mean, there's so much going on that it's almost overload with what you're seeing, because you're naturally going to train in your eye on Charlie, but when you start isolating just each person, like you'll just focus on, say, Dan Flood, or you're just focusing on, say, Philip Goldsberry or Terrell Farnsworth. You start picking up on all sorts of different things that are happening and the issues that they were having, because this was not a perfect executed plan. It was far
not
from
by
it.
a long shot. Yeah.
No, there was a lot of things going wrong, and when this all comes out, it'll be determined that they made the worst decision of their lives, all of them, by still electing to execute their plan. They probably should have said, abort, we need to call this off because this is not good. And when and it is my personal mission to see through that every single one of those people that are involved, all of the co-conspirators and the person who did this, that they're absolutely buried. And
Same.
because they're toast. What with
Yeah.
the video that's out, the video that is maybe out but being held on to by people, they are toast. There's no way, 0% chance that they can explain away with what is out. So that's why you've seen this incredible effort to it is like it's a psyop on steroids. With what
Yeah.
I've been through alone, I could literally do probably a reality show on psyops with just the characters and people that I've been involved with and how things have been attempted to be executed on confusion, all of this stuff. Like there's so many elements to this. And X is the Wild West when it comes to it. So back to the original question with Candace. I think I've illustrated how important the video is.
Yeah.
Okay. And Candace was absolutely enthralled with its discovery and the fact that she was getting the video sent, right?
Where did you get
Let
this
me
video?
ask you, from the UVU review, from students.
Okay.
From students that work there. They didn't, so this was wild because they're like, why do you want it? Like they had no clue. They're like, he was shot. I was like, I don't think he was. They're like, yeah, I mean, like we've heard all of it. Like we heard he was shot, and like, why do you want it? I was like, y'all are in journalism. Like y'all are journalists. Like, are you kidding me? You're asking me this question? Like, I said, you need to like just send it to me and let's look at it.
How
And
did
I'm
you
not
know
kidding
who
you.
to go to? How did you
I
know
found
who
them.
to?
I found people in the crowd off of Adam Bartholomew's video.
Okay.
His name's
So-
Life is Driving on YouTube.
Live and
Yeah.
thriving.
Life is Driving on
Life
YouTube.
is
Yeah.
Driving.
Okay.
Yeah.
I literally, it took me about probably 8 or 9 days of, I would go identify people that had their phone out or had a nice camera, and then I would try and go find them on social media and then make contact to see if I could get their footage.
Okay.
And it was hard. It was a
Mhm.
show. It was really hard. Sorry. It was a lot of work. Like it was, because you're just sifting through, you're trying to use different like cross matching. Like you might find someone that was there, find if they tagged the location, then go see if it just basically networking through social media, trying to find people and things. Like it was very difficult.
Mhm.
But it can be done. Like it can be done. Like if I see someone that took a photo that tagged, and then you go and look through other people that they know that they've got photos, like you start just spinning a weave through finding different people, and then that was just half the battle.
Mhm.
I mean, imagine identifying someone and then they're like not giving you the time of day. So
Mhm.
not only that, I mean, you have to be convincing for them to be like, hey, can I have the video? And basically I just played the card, which is exactly the card I am. Is like, I'm a dad. I'm pissed off.
Mhm.
This doesn't make sense. If it is what it is and everyone's telling the truth, then there should be nothing to hide.
Right.
And they all sent it to me. I mean, it was that simple.
Mhm.
And I think when the UVU review video came out is when everything changed for Turning Point USA and probably the university as well, and anybody involved at the state level for things, because it made everything we now see and know extremely difficult to defend. So that is that is where things changed for this entire investigation. Imagine, I mean, Brandy, we wouldn't have the Mikey McCoy turnaround if we didn't have that video. We wouldn't, I mean, that video, Sam Parker, I didn't know who Mikey was. I called him Mickey in the video. But, you know, without, I mean, Sam picked up on it immediately. He's like, look at Mikey do the turnaround. I mean, it's within
so bizarre.
Less than a second.
Yeah.
He's already on the phone with
One
somebody.
of the weirdest things I saw that day was Mikey's reaction. Like, he knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
He knew it was going to happen. And then that's where you then started to see all of the different posturing happening within people at Turning Point. Characters come online on X. All of that. I mean, it was a game changer for them. So what's my point? My point is this.
So you got a hold of Candace. You were on the call. Then lead us through like what?
Yeah. So that night I sent her a WeTransfer. She's super excited to have it. She's got these people lined up. She's going to get the weapons people to look at. And I'm thinking within the next week, we are going to have, I mean, this is going to be blown wide open.
Right.
And I have yet to see any production of that video make it on her shows at all. There's been about 80 something shows.
Teresa, but I just have a question. What is your theory about what happened that day, and what in that video do you want Candace to show?
Well, it's not what I want Candace to show. I just want her to show it, because Candace knows what all's happening on that video. There's things that were described with happening underneath his shirt. She sees it. There's things happening with Brian Harple. There's things happening with Dan Flood. There's things happening with Frank Turek. There's things happening with Philip. There's things happening with Terrell, with Mikey. She did hit on Mikey, but that was after Sam Parker, of course, did his post on X about it.
Because I feel like all these people have been shown, though, like on the internet, like Baron Coleman's covered it, like everything that Brian Harple was doing, everything Dan Flood was doing. So is there something else in that video that hasn't been exposed that you want her to show?
Well, it's not that I want her to show something in particular. It's the fact that it's been a complete and total absence altogether. I mean, she could do 2 or 3 live shows on this video. I want you all to think about 80 live streams since then, since that was, and not one of them covering. I mean, this is a gold mine, and yet it's gone nowhere. Like, why? And not only that, so we'll take it a step further. I mean, she knows that I am hardcore into this investigation, trying to find out what happened. I started asking her in October, November. I mean, like, why not just tell, hey, why are we not going here? Why are we not showing this? I mean, we're talking about Delaware. We're talking about all of this, these things. I mean, I want you all to kind of think about, like, there was a turn that left Orem and left UVU when it comes to her investigation. And let's face it, she drives the bus. What she talks about is what drives.
He's waiting for the right time. And I mean,
I've heard that. I've heard that. And look, Brandy, she could have easily, we've texted often. She could have easily just told me what's up. Like, hey, I don't want to talk about it yet.
Yeah. But
she totally ghosted me. Like, and it's not like she ghosted me because it's like, oh, Blake's this, and like, no, Blake's on some shit. Like, Blake's got this. Like, why ghost me? You look guilty. You look like you're trying to cover some shit up, and you don't want to talk to Blake because Blake's going to ask maybe some difficult questions.
So your thinking is that the reason that she hasn't done this is what exactly? So tell us what is in your mind, what your fear are, and what you're wondering.
Well, my fear is, or my wonder is this intentional? Is this intentional that you would be given? I mean, I feel like I had to be kind of an asshole on getting the video from behind Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, let's face it, I was probably the only one that was making posts. And finally, after one of them went like a few million on views, because she puts out the still photo from behind Charlie on January the 6th, after she's seen the video on September the 19th, September 19th to January 6th, she just shows a still photo of behind Charlie. I had to then pretty much do what I didn't want to do. It's like, hey, we need the video, start posting about it. Like, hey, just release the video, you know, show us what you have. Look, this, I was doxxed super, super heavily back in October by a crazy person that lives in New York. And his primary theory, he is psychotic. And his primary theory is that Charlie was shot in the back of his neck. And I'm like, God almighty, like, this would have been put, like, Jason Goodman, all of this stuff could have been put to bed had Candace just put this shit out immediately, instead of just leaving it where everyone starts to cannibalize each other. I mean, can you imagine if we would have known immediately that the back of his neck, it was absolutely crystal clear that there was not any wound back there. There was no blood. I mean, I understand she said it, but let's face it. Do you enjoy just hearing the district attorney read something and just be like, hey, trust me, bro. Just trust me, bro. Or do you want to see it?
So your concern is with gatekeeping information.
It could be described as that.
Yeah.
I look at it as that video from, if that would have been out, I mean, she had it on September the 19th. I mean, think of all of the different, like, I mean, I can go back and play up just each week on how things have gone. That would have cut down on so much of this just endless speculation that fuels these people that are kind of disinformation people to still get a stronghold on the argument or their theory that he was shot from the back. I mean, that would have put so much to bed. So it makes no sense to me what the point is, because at the end of the day, Candace is no different than you or me or Brandy. We are both, or we are all exactly equal in the eyes of the law when it comes to our citizenship and our claim, our stake to the investigation of what happened to Charlie Kirk. And in my opinion, it's not right or fair that Candace, sits on something for, I mean, we finally got the video at the beginning of March. That to me is, it's hard to defend, explain, because there's a lot of people that are like me that just want the truth, and it's exhausting. I mean, we have been through this for month after month after month after month, and I can't explain the point or what's in it for anyone else to not allow for that video to come out.
Yeah. So you have it on your X. You have the full video on X, right? And then did you break down? So you said like you had gone and you'd seen each of the people. Do you also have a breakdown and a separate videos where you're saying, you're pointing out to us, hey, take a look?
Sure. Yeah. The first time, I would say the video that really was kind of the earth-shattering moment was when I went on, I called up Baron, and I told him, it was like, hey, I've got something, this is huge. Okay, this is right around the Fort Huachuca story coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically put out a really big kind of call to the people of Orem that have video possibly, and I was wanting to find the guy that was back there by the minivan, okay? Because at the moment that Dan Flood tells everyone to steal third, okay, this kid he takes his hands and they're right up here by his head and he's squeezing, okay? Well, the
Not
only
Hunter
video that,
Novak?
no,
Oh.
Hunter looks over to Brian. This is what I call the minivan man. And so he's squeezing, and the video, the best video we had up until then was someone kind of back in the grass area, a little bit elevated, and you can't see the hands very well. So you can just see his hand grip, like he squeezes, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I made a big push for anyone that's got video to please send it to me. Well, lo and behold, I actually got 2 videos from right up there at the front row. And when I watched the first one, you can zoom right in and you can see basically the hair on his knuckles. It's that good. And there's nothing in his hand. So he's a decoy. So he's squeezing to be a decoy. And that's what Dan Flood was doing, was he's leaning forward so that everyone can play off of his tapping his arm to steal third. That's when all of the decoys were instructed to do their thing so that it wouldn't be just isolated should someone actually see Brian Harpole actually squeezing the detonator. So if you have a lot of things happening, it's hard to follow. Yeah.
So
That's
the guy that's literally looking at Charlie that everyone thinks like did the exploding microphone. You think that was a decoy too?
So Rick Cutler, when he leans over, and a lot of the people say he's got a palm gun in his hand.
Yeah.
And he's like somehow aiming perfect with this palm gun. No, he's a decoy. I mean,
do you think it was a gun? I honestly don't know what. You think it was the microphone?
I actually think it was the necklace.
The necklace.
The necklace. Oh, explain.
Because I think it was the microphone. I did a whole episode about it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's the necklace.
Because the necklace moves first, so you think, but his necklace is a little cross though.
I actually have the whole setup. It's not a little cross.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Then I'm wrong. What is it?
Yeah. Well, it is a cross. I'm about to come out with a video that does everything. I know what explosive compound they used. I know how they did it, how it was detonated. You've heard Brian Harpole go on to the Sean Ryan show and talk about there's no flash, there's no smoke, there's no burn. And absolutely, all of these things you don't need for this compound to be used. You don't. And they're just saying that because that's old school PETN styled explosives. So they're saying it for just the layperson to be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But no, this was a shaped charge using a small amount of this super, I mean, like y'all, when you hear about this stuff, you'll understand, Brandy, why you went to Tennessee and saw a plant leveled to the ground.
I was going to ask you if you still think AES was involved.
I don't know. Unfortunately, we don't have anybody that we can question either, because I think they're all dead.
They're all dead. Yeah.
Yeah. And
but I'm just letting you know that there's
no one wants to talk about it.
There's been
I went to the plant, as everyone knows, with Billy. Tried to see it, we lied and said that we were in college and we were doing like a news report and we wanted to go see the plant for our project, and they were like, nope, sorry, like nothing. But do you think Butch Hibbs was involved still? Like the flight from Utah to Tennessee, the day that the
it's hard to say about the
completed?
flight. It makes sense. I just know that we've got to, because you can go super high up on kind of like, I always say this, like a macro level look. And the easiest thing to be like, oh, it's Israel. You're never going to prove anything if you just are starting, if your starting point is like Israel.
I mean,
you're not.
Israel was involved though too.
They might. It's a very real possibility. However, if you really, really, really want to prove this, you start with rolling people that were there and you go arrest Terrell. He's on camera committing a felony or felonies. He's on camera. Arrest his ass.
Okay?
Yeah. How is that okay? Anybody else in America, they're jammed up. They just caught a case. Go arrest Philip. Philip is the one who put something on Charlie's shirt that he's there. They're all huddled around at the beginning before Charlie even gets there. You know, the photograph where you've got Butch Hibbs and Brian Harpole and the AV team. They're all over there on the side by the computer. Like, what the hell are y'all looking at trying to plan doing? Like, why is Brian Harpole all of a sudden interested in the computer table? Why is that?
Yeah. A lot has been made of the necklace. I mean, I've wondered, like, what the necklace is they're often, like, Erica mentioned the necklace. Like, it's been a very specific thing that they've said. Like, I don't know what this necklace, I just thought, you know, the necklace has special sentimental reasons, you know.
No, it's an overcompensation.
It's interesting.
For trying to convince us that the necklace is still in existence. They're trying to overly, this was early on. They won't do it now. They did it early on to, if you're showing the necklace hanging out of the Escalade, if you're talking about it in front of Megyn Kelly, are you going to question it if something seems off on the video? No, you're going to be like, no, because I saw Erica's holding it out the Escalade and Frank said he found it. So no, it's not the necklace. Why would it be the necklace? They're talking about it.
They're overly talking about it. And it's
when in fact it is what it is. It's like reverse psychology type of
programming.
Stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that might work for some people, but no, I mean, it's just super, super weird. It's the same reason that I look at the people that talked about the speakers having an issue early on. Go back and listen to some of the early interviews, and why? Ask yourself this question. And I'm not accusing him of anything, but why would Jason Chaffetz talk about the speakers having a little bit of a problem in front of a live world audience in front of Fox News?
Yeah.
You just saw Charlie Kirk get assassinated, and you're going to talk about the speakers were having a little bit of an issue. Like, what does that have to do with what, I mean, you see what I mean? Like, it's a detail that doesn't need to be talked about unless it's like this subconscious detail. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, I pick up on this shit way too quick. Like, and look, there's multiple people that are talking about the speakers. It's not just Jason Chaffetz. There's other, like, go back and listen to, I've got a whole archive of people talking about the speakers that they shouldn't be talking about the speakers, you know? It
so
just doesn't make any sense.
If I understand you correctly, is that what you're wanting and what's been discouraging or infuriating to you is the lack of dragging this out, that if everybody shared information and didn't gatekeep the information and didn't let it just trickle out, then we could actually get somewhere. Am I getting that right?
Absolutely. I absolutely think that. And um, I look at it with the audience that Candace has. Um, she very much so dictates the direction of things. I mean,
Hmm.
she can even make me. I mean, I've got so much. I'm not having a lot of things figured out, and just watching one of her shows, and she puts a call out to action on locating Toyotas. She makes me even be like, oh shit, I'm gonna go see if I can find these Toyotas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So she has a platform to be able to move this forward more than it is, and that's your issue
Oh,
because you're like, let's use the platform to move it forward and not just drag it and drag it and drag it and drag it on.
yeah, because not only that is it like really just like really making us kind of smaller people cannibalize each other,
Yeah.
but she's making, and I'm all for people making money. I am a capitalist through and through. I really am. But like, this is not something to drag out and just let all of X just implode with the people that are actually working just as hard as you.
Mhm.
Playing
You
devil's
you can make you can
it-
make money. Go ahead.
I was just going to say she does know a lot of people within Turning Point and knows people way better than we know, people that we don't even know. And I know people are sick of people saying that she's playing like the long game because she has, you know, information that we don't have. But like maybe
'Cause
she
she's a
does.
chess player. Yeah.
You know, I think she wants people, and this is just my opinion. I totally get what you're saying, Blake,
Hmm.
but she also might have information about people and she's waiting for them to screw up and say something wrong. And she's going to go, well, I have this evidence and I have this and I have this. Um, but I get where you're coming from too, though, you know,
Do you
but
think that she leverages a position within Turning Point to, I don't want to use the word extort, but do you think that there's things happening where she hangs something over their head and it's like, hey, do you want to make episode number 376? Do you want to be number 376? Do you want to be 377? And they're like, oh God, no, we don't want to be episode 376. We don't. So she gets what, she gets something. I mean, I look at it, I
I don't
pick
think
up
she's
on
taking
people's
money from
connections with,
anyone by any means. I just
yeah,
don't think it's her character.
right. And so, but she is meticulous in laying out a long game on just how her episodes are structured, right? Where me, I'm ready to, I mean, throw it out there on October 26th and just go, or September 26th,
Maybe
and
she's
just be
waiting
like,
for the trial, like to start. Like, you know,
so
maybe
this
she's
is
waiting for
this is something
evidence
that
to come out.
I've picked up on, like where I've like, okay, so I realized real quick that I put the video out and then all of a sudden I started getting, and this is where I literally have now a PhD in psyops. I have, and it's not from going to school and being trained by someone in the government. It's by absolutely being a product of them targeting me. And I have absolutely learned exactly how to do it, how to be most effective, how to get in, elbow your way in with someone, and then do a quick flip where, I mean, it's bizarre. I'll tell you about this guy later. But so I've picked up on it and I'm like, okay, so I was attacked relentlessly early on by people that
Mhm.
are, look, let me ask you all this. Do you think that Candace platforms a person's name or account by accident? Like, would Candace mention someone's name on her show by accident?
No.
It's deliberate, right?
Right.
Well,
I mean,
yeah. What do
because
you
she
mean?
believes like right. To me, it's deliberate because she trusts them, she respects them, she believes their work, she believes their integrity, she believes their intentions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, given everything you just said, she platformed Zeb Boykin on her show talking about the outstanding work that he has done. And Zeb Boykin, along with Jason Goodman, were two of the biggest critics, calling the video from the UVU review fake, not talking to me at all in late September, but just flat out attacking the video's credibility and validity early on. And they were absolutely a disaster. I mean, they were just two of a handful of people that were these like targeted people that were just honed in on their only job was to discredit that video.
So they were
And
saying, so I didn't know this. So they were accusing your video of being faked.
yeah, Zeb would go on to his live streams and he would
Okay.
pick out frames, and he would compare frames in this UVU review video to frames that he's got like with something he might have screen recorded off of TikTok. And he's like, see, it's missing frames. And he's making out this argument where the video's fake. He's like, this is doctored footage. This is doctored footage. This is doctored footage. And I'm like, holy shit, who is this guy?
Mm-hmm.
And so
like,
things
what would be the
things
point
click.
of you making shit up too?
I
Sorry.
have absolutely no clue.
us.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, like, I do insurance. Like, I mean, I'm not I'm not someone that's been in the Butler investigation in Vegas. Like, I'm not any of that. I am, and this is like, when this is over with, I'm like, y'all will never hear from me again. Like, I don't want to do this. Like, this is not something that I'm getting my rocks off on doing. I'm doing it because of the principle of the matter, and I genuinely believe it's like for the salvation and soul of our country. It's that paramount.
Same. That's
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when people say, look, like, this doesn't even affect us, like somebody had
Oh.
said that on one of my posts, like, this doesn't even really affect us. And I'm like, how does this know what? This affects every single one of us. If our government can do this, if a foreign agent can do this, if corporations, NGOs can do this, and the government looks the other way, authorities look the other way, that affects us all.
We don't have a
or they're
country.
in on it. Yes.
Yeah. It's terrifying. I mean, it really hit me hard when my son was like, he asked the question, he's like, why would anybody want to be in a position of power in this country? Like, why would anyone want to be a leader? I was like, holy shit. Like,
yeah,
he just said that.
I like realized that after Charlie Kirk died, that our president has no control over everything.
Yeah.
The elites that run this world control the president. And just like even with the war going on right now, I don't think it matters if Kamala Harris was president or if Donald Trump was. It was going to happen regardless, because that's what the elites want.
Right.
And
we are occupied and we are controlled. And it is not with the best interest of America. It might have, I mean, do you know what the polling said for, intervention with another country? I mean, like, all of this stuff goes against everything Trump campaigned on. And I understand he's basically he's a lame duck president now. And
I voted for Donald Trump 3 times. Like, I was a huge Donald Trump fan. I flew to Arizona just to vote for him because I moved to Utah. I live in Salt Lake City, and I wasn't registered to vote in Utah, and I didn't opt in for a mail-in ballot. So I literally had to fly to Arizona just for a day to go vote for him. And I was so excited. I watched Charlie Kirk live when he got elected, and I was crying. I was so happy. Like, me and Teresa were talking about this before you got on, and just little did I know. Like, I think even some people in my family think that, oh, Charlie Kirk, his death happened and Erica's taking Turning Point to the next level. And he brought so many people to Christ, and which his death did. But I also think his death, it was not to make Turning Point go to the next level. It was to wake everyone up in the world that we had no idea what was really going on behind the scenes. And now people that actually are paying attention are waking up, and realizing it doesn't
when
really
there's
matter who you
180s
vote
being
for.
done, there's 180s being done on pretty much all of his big topic issues. Like,
Yeah.
look, everyone that's talking about Charlie Kirk, this fake thing, this fake angle, I'm like, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever in my life heard of. It's easier just to flip your position, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just flip. I mean, just be like, yeah, go bomb, invade Iran. I'll take the 150 mil or whatever it was from Israel. I'll start doing an about face here and about face there. It's easier just to do that and circle the whole wagon up versus doing this kind of like reverse Batman engineered thinking thing of, oh, we're going to fake it, but yet still do. So anyways, that's where everyone that does this fake death theory, it falls apart on them, aside from the fact that it's just impossible. It's easier just to flip. They wanted him out of the way. They wanted him out of the way. They saw a huge problem with a young man, 31 years old, who has a lifelong ahead of him of being possibly one of the most influential people in the history of our country.
He was going to be president.
Absolutely. Think about how he had the attention of people in college, high school, anyone underneath a millennial. I mean, you look at me, I'm a millennial, I'm 41. You've got Tucker Carlson is a certain way. And if you're another country and you lose the audience that is Charlie Kirk and Tucker Carlson, do you understand how big of a swath of the country that is of people that vote conservative?
Yeah, that's what I always said. Yeah, he had to go away because it would have been Charlie, it would have been Candace, it would have been Tucker, possibly Megan, and they would not have. They had to take out that bigger chunk, which was the younger demographic. The ones now that they're targeting on TikTok.
Absolutely.
And personally, and so many other people, Charlie was so intelligent and had so much influence in the White House. And I mean, I would listen to tons of different people, but like my number one person that I trusted was Charlie Kirk. And if Charlie was going to go against Israel and go against the war in Iran, I mean, that's not all, but a lot of Gen Zs and millennials were going to agree with him.
Right.
And they couldn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
Look,
yeah.
The Gaza issue was, I believe, probably the thing where, look, whatever we heard publicly from Charlie, it is something he's probably been talking about for months or weeks. Okay, he didn't just come out with that. So these people that whoever were closest to him, and I believe wholeheartedly he was surrounded by a boatload of wolves in sheep clothing that were, hey, buddy, but were absolutely watching his every move. And I believe wholeheartedly that whether it was the uppers in our government or a foreign government, they saw the writing on the wall, and all they needed was what started happening in the summer of 2025, where he starts to basically question things. How is it possible that a small little country that enlists every single person at the age of 18, the most guarded, militarized, fortified country, how is it that these barbarians just came across in go-karts and stuff, and this was not seen? This was not, they were just totally caught off guard. I mean, that is at its core one of the things that just does not make sense. That yes, it looks like absolutely they knew about it, they wanted it to happen, and look, Charlie just started asking me probably a question like, hey, it kind of looks like an intentional styled false flag, right?
Well, someone commented about Charlie saying, was there a stand down order? And he did say that on the PBD podcast, I think in 2023, like after it happened. And I think that was when they kind of were like, oh no, he's starting to lean the other way and we got to keep an eye on him.
This is a problem.
He's going rogue.
It is Sun Tzu, The Art of War. If you go and read Sun Tzu, Art of War, what they describe as taking out, if your enemy's been identified, okay, and what this would be is like Charlie was identified as the enemy. He started to show his kind of cards a little too early. Sun Tzu says you have to cut the head off of the serpent. I mean, you do not leave any sort of life for your enemy. You have to cut the head off, or they're going to continue to be a problem. And I mean, it's just one of the oldest playbooks in war is you, if you have an enemy and they're identified, you have to go, you don't just leave a little bit of life in them unless it's intentional, where they're going to,
unless you can control them on some level.
And you can then trade stocks on defense contract companies down the road, then yeah, we'll let that play out. But
right.
But basically, that's what they identified. That's what they saw, and they had to deal with him immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And what better way than killing a bird with 3 stones? You got the trans crowd or the LGBTQ plus crowd. You got them on the ropes. I mean, look at what everything it did just in this one assassination that they think they outsmarted everyone on, but they hadn't. And I'll just say this last thing. I know without a shadow of doubt, there were flights out of Israel, September the 6th, 7th, all the way up until about 6 hours before the attack, with some of the most high-level American citizens, whether it be with churches, government. They were getting American citizens out of the country right up until like right around before the beginning of that. They knew.
Well, Baron Coleman pointed out that they use what airport is it in Egypt as a cover, Cairo, but they're really flying into Israel.
Yeah.
And that, I think that occurred with those Egyptian airplanes, because Baron's source was I think he was an air traffic control person for the Air Force, and told him that they were using Cairo, Egypt as a cover when they're really going into Israel. That's why they're called the Egyptian planes, but really like they're involved with Israel.
I mean, it would make, they're smart. I mean, Israel, you're not going to have Star David on the tail of the airplane if you don't want to be there. You're going to be smart, right? You're going to make you're going to seem like something else, but you're not. If you're really doing something that's not on the up and up, why would you fly? Like, you would make yourself look like something else, right? You would be doing this. You would be doing this. You would be, right? It's about distraction and not being obvious.
If I remember right, when that video first came out, and this was way at the beginning, and Dan Flood was doing the hand signals, did Candace say she didn't think that she trusted Dan at that point still? Right? Do you guys remember that? It's like, she's like, I don't think they're signals. I know this guy. He's like, she vouched for him. And I think it was Dan Flood. And I think it was in the beginning. It was like real, I think maybe even before she started putting the pieces together that TPUSA may be involved, allegedly, could possibly, just to cover my face.
I don't remember if she ever said if she trusted Dan Flood.
So I didn't know if it was him or if it was one of the other guys, or was it Terrell where she said she trusted him? I think it was both. I'm going to go back and look.
I don't think she's ever trusted Terrell. She said she knows that Charlie knew Terrell for 10 plus years. She's worked with him too, but she thought he was very suspicious by the way he was acting. I think that she said that the most honest reaction to was Frank Turek, but now that's looking
off. I thought too he looks sincere, but then you see him, and now, but you seeing him in the UVU talk that he just did, I'm like, oh, he's not the nice nice, gentle guy that he seemed to be.
Yeah.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. So you're seeing Frank Turek revisit UVU. He's got people with him. I look at some of the photos I've seen of Hunter Kozak, and look, I have no doubt in my mind that Frank Turek went back to UVU to make certain that everyone was still understanding the plan.
He was programming.
We're not going to, he was absolutely programming. We're not going to deviate one single iota. We still have control of everything. I look at Hunter Kozak, and Brandy, I know you know Hunter now. I have been super critical of him, and I am not going to deviate because I know what I know, and it's 100% in my mind, and it will be 100% at some point, but like there's no deviating from that. I want to know who put these people up to this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, if this was an honest investigation by people that truly, when they took the oath, when they got their badge and took their oath to the Constitution, if these people are, if we had serious law enforcement involved, this thing would be busted wide open. I'm telling you, because you would be hanging out some conspiracy to commit murder charges on these people where it carries like a 40-year sentence, 60-year sentence, if not a life sentence. And you start dangling it out there to them in an interrogation room, and a detective that knows how to be a detective, they start leveraging, you're about to spend the rest of your life in prison. Tell us what you know, and we'll get you a deal, the DA, you know, that type of thing. Right. That's how you solve this. That's how you solve this, is you get these low-level people that just got caught up in something. They got talked into something, and they don't want to go to prison for the rest of their life. And then they start singing. So then they lead you, well, Hunter says, well, I was approached by this person and this person. Okay, we go right over there across town, we get them, put them in an interrogation room. They do the same thing. Everything, like, that's just old-fashioned shoe leather police work type of stuff. And and it works. It's extremely effective, and that's how you solve this right here, because we know what we know on the videos. But everything right now, and look, Brandy, I know you're not from Utah. You're like, are you considered from Utah?
I live in Utah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, like, this is my one beef, is that I am, for whatever reason, like, my faith in the people of Utah, and just this whole thing of how it's playing out with kind of people turning a blind eye, it seems and feels, I am not okay with, like, at all. I'm like, is Brandy the only person that cares about this shit in the state of Utah? I mean, it quite frankly kind of feels that way.
Yeah. And now the Romney, that's really interesting. All of that, the Romney ties and BB ties. So, okay. So whose idea do you think it was? Who instigated getting rid of Charlie? Who came? Was it the government? TPUSA? You guys give us your opinion.
I genuinely don't believe that this is something that is directly involved with Israel, like that there were Israeli people there on the ground that day, like there's like some Mossad agent or whatnot. I believe this was
there were 12 Israeli cell phones.
Yeah, I need to see stuff. I can't, like, I'm to the point now when Candace says something like that, like, I need to see what you're looking at, right? I don't, like, don't tell me about it, because I've been told shit by Jeff Gray, the DA, and I know he's full of shit. So in my opinion, until we see things, I mean, like, I need to see what you're looking at. I don't want to be told something, because quite frankly, I don't really trust anything that's being just talked about. Show me. There's a reason that people are talking and not showing.
Chat, what do you think? Whose idea? Who kicked this off? Just say what you think. What do you think, Brandy? Who do you think were the architects of this?
I think it was Israel and Turning Point. I think that Israel was going to take Turning Point to the next level if Charlie kept being pro-Israel, pro this Iran war, and he wasn't. He went to the White House and told Donald Trump that he didn't think this was a good idea. He supported the 12-day war thing. He wasn't happy about it, but he said, I'm going to trust the president. And then it was over. But us actually going to war with Iran on behalf of Israel, Charlie was absolutely not on board for. And I think that they knew that he was going to advocate against it. And that means a lot of conservatives in America were going to be advocating against it.
Mhm.
And they couldn't have that. And so I think that there was a lot of money involved. I think Erica Kirk is an CIA operative. I think she was Charlie's handler. I think Charlie got out of line and they decided to take him out.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it was our government. I think, like what Candace was saying about the French government, the maroon berets or whatever they're called, how they were wearing maroon shirts everywhere. I think that this war is going to, they thought it was going to benefit themselves, but I think it's kind of kicking them in the ass, to be honest. But yeah, I think that Israel and Turning Point and our government were all involved. And that just makes me so sick because Charlie dedicated his whole life to getting this administration elected.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's
that's
sickening.
my
So
opinion.
let me just say, like, I agree with that comment that was just on the screen.
Mhm.
I believe that this is 100% at the hands of Turning Point USA, but that the involvement with the executives in Erica, with their ties to more than likely being plants, kind of the idea that Charlie Kirk was honeypotted. And look, I know people I know Charlies, and I'm meaning that not as a noun, but as a verb, Charlies. Kind of the guy that never really scored a hot chick ever before. And then all of a sudden, like the dude, he's now successful. He scores a hot chick, and literally all cognitive, critical thinking, all of that goes out the door. I mean, like, you're so enamored because you scored a hot chick. I think that was exactly what Erica was. She was a hot chick to him, and he more than likely made excuses for things that he probably picked up on early on in the relationship. And then I believe after we've had 4 years of marriage, look, after 4 years, you know someone pretty damn good. Okay. Even as much as Charlie traveled, I think he was probably picking up on things with her, and things might not have been as good as we think they were, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we don't live in glass houses, and
Mhm.
Look at her
and
track
so
record. Like, she dated a bunch of
right,
professional athletes, like only dated people that had status. And
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
yeah,
So you're like, if you're Charlie, I mean,
and I
yeah,
don't
you
think you knew
scored
that.
her, right? And so I look at it just on how I know it was executed, from the detonation to the people involved. Israel wouldn't have been this sloppy. I'm sorry, y'all, but they wouldn't
Mm.
have. They wouldn't have had Philip Goldsberry over there running the audio that's jacking up, with Brian Harpole turning things on and off in his pocket because the audio is messing up too soon. And it's the weapon is interfering with the audio system and what's about to be played. Like, Israel would never have had that. They wouldn't have people like Mikey McCoy knowing about it, so that Mikey McCoy could turn around, because Mikey McCoy is just a normal kid at the end of the day. He's not some stone cold, like, what happened, what we saw was just real intentional knowing, but also amateur shit. That was all amateur shit that we saw happen on the 10th with Mikey, with Terrell, with Philip, and with a host of people that were locals in Utah. They're all involved. So when I look at this, there's no reason for Butch Hibbs to be doing what Butch Hibbs did other than Butch is involved. Same thing with Jason Behunin. Okay. There's no reason. So at the end of the day, I believe that this was a Turning Point USA hostile takeover. They elected to do a public execution assassination. They probably had the blessing of the United States government, and the assurances of protection.
Well, they
and
had
they
the
and they
FBI
went with it.
covering everything up or trying to.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the thing is, at the end of the day, whoever wrote the script with the patsies, with Tyler Robinson, whoever that is, if it's someone involved or at the state level in Utah, they're ultimately going to be the reason that this whole thing goes to hell in a handbasket, because they wrote a shitty script. Okay? They're the reason. That indictment, that probable cause affidavit, is the whole reason that we are where we are, is because there's no way possible that Tyler Robinson would know anything about George Zinn sitting in his car waiting to go back and get the rifle just moments after. There's no way. There's absolutely no way.
Did you see the Alley files? She's on X, and she had just posted some pictures. There's a picture of a woman with a gun that we haven't. I don't remember seeing her before on any other posts or any other photographs. But she's sitting there. She's in a tan shirt and is it black pants or gray pants? And she's got a gun and a blue backpack on. Did you guys see that?
At
I can tell you.
Event?
Yeah.
Utah's open carry.
There's a lot of people that I think had guns that day because you can legally carry a gun. I think she just had it because she always has it
just in case.
Yeah. And then when that gunshot went off, I think I know the video
just pulled it
out for her.
I'm going to go ahead and take it a step further and let y'all know that woman right there that's got the gun pulled out, I can tell you definitively in my book, she is 100% innocent of everything, because that's actually how you react when there's a live fire.
You pull out your gun and you try to protect.
You pull out your gun and you're ready to defend yourself and your life and the people that you're with. It's what you don't do is act unafraid, stand there, go back in front of the tent, start picking stuff up and pointing out things for people to go pick up in the grass. That's not normal. Normal is pulling out your 9mm handgun. Absolutely. Normal is pulling out your handgun because you are truly in fear and afraid for your life, and you're ready to defend your life. So yes, there were people, and look, there is no different. I understand that people like Alley Top Files don't get this because they live in northern states, but down here in Texas, that's what keeps our state, at least where I live, from things popping off in the grocery store or other places, because everybody's got a gun. Yeah. You ain't gonna get far by inflicting, everyone's got a gun. So that's not out of it's just not.
Mm-hmm. And it makes sense going to a Charlie Kirk event when he did have so many death threats against him to bring a gun to that situation just in case. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. So I'm not surprised at that. And at the end of the day, I know there's a lot of people. Like there's a person. I used to watch him as a kid, as a professional wrestler. His name's Val Venus. He is all about. I don't know really what his deal is, but he's all about the palm gun. That Rick Cutler shot a palm gun. And at the end of the day, this is the one problem that these people will never be able to get over. The people that think it was a gunshot, is that the necklace is the first thing to literally blow off his body with the chain coming out here. Like it's literally the first thing that goes. And there's no reason, there's no rhyme, there's nothing that explains that is the first thing that's seen with his shirt. And look, I believe wholeheartedly that we were about maybe 2 inches from the actual charge, the pendant actually coming out of his shirt. I believe what happened was Charlie was leaning over at the very moment that he was putting the microphone, because remember they told him to move the microphone back on the table because it was interfering with a lot of stuff. So as he's leaning back, he's not fully upright. I think they probably had multiple times of testing this out on like a dummy on a mannequin. And each time you got just a dummy setting 90 degrees, right? And what happened is it probably detonated correctly each time, just keeping this was never intended. Okay. This was the worst thing that could have ever happened to them, was the neck shot, because we know that that's impossible. If it would have been a chest wound, I mean, we wouldn't have had anything to compare. Everything happened underneath the shirt. You don't see anything. You just see him kill over. You've got you'll see some blood, and it's like, oh my God, he was shot in the chest. But what happened was, I think that for whatever reason, and yes, I believe that there is a God, and I believe that even though I don't think it's hard to reconcile that God would intentionally want this to happen, but that they intentionally, like, there was something that happened that was not supposed to happen.
Yeah. I
believe it.
Like
this
planned,
was, yes, it was not supposed to come up and almost exit out of his shirt, which is what we see. We have this thing where it comes up here, and then it unloads into his neck. So the point I'm making is that no matter who goes in and tries to do these ballistic tests with these gel blocks or whatnot, and look, Chris Martinson is one of them. I like Chris. I've talked to him a bunch. Chris, the only way that he was able to get the necklace to snap was because he put a gel block, he shot into it, and the gel block expanded something so crazy that's the expansion of the gel block is what actually forced the necklace to snap. Human neck doesn't do that at all. Like, the head would have blown off his body. Like, that's the equivalent of that. So this is where I believe what was implemented is this massive psyop operation with these people, and what better of people to do it than your Valhallas, your Army guys like Paramount Tactical that have weapons experience, that were Green Beret, they're SF, and they're out here talking about how, oh yeah, it's possible. We just don't know this and we don't know that. And I'm telling you, like, they had to get desperate to cover their tracks for what happened that they didn't plan on happening. Because remember, the gun, all of it's already set in motion. They already have the 30-06 with the cartridges there, with the etchings. They're already pigeoned into the story at this point. Like, everything's in motion. And I'm telling you, like, this was so sloppy.
Yeah.
The way that it happened. And they could not recover from it because they already had they had the rifle already planted there, ready to go,
Yeah.
And that's what everyone started going, so what do you get? You get people like Andrew Colvett coming out doing damage control, talking about how the doctor said he was Superman and had a spine of steel.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is a big operation. We need everybody in cooperation, and this whole, and we need everybody. I feel like if creators could get together, researchers, creators, all the people, and work together in unison, we could get somewhere. I'm in full agreement with you on that, Blake, and the whole takedown culture has to stop. I mean, that's how we're in this mess to begin with, is because they think they can come in and separate us all and get everybody fighting and get all the questions going everywhere and nobody working together. And that's how these programs can run and succeed. And they have been for decades on the American people.
We have to stand up. We have to.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, like, it's going to take, COVID was one thing where people kind of started waking up. This right here, look, I am the unintended person that they never thought was going to show up. I showed up. I was their worst nightmare of someone that showed up, that actually is super good at networking and talking with people just like you. I mean, I do sales all day, every day. I know how to talk to people. I know how to convince people. I know how to just interact with people. The worst thing they could have ever calculated or counted on was someone like me popping up into the investigation and getting things that I shouldn't have got in terms of video and evidence that, and then not only that, but then gaining a platform to where I have a voice. So all of a sudden it's like, oh shit.
So where can people see your video on X?
Yeah, it's on my X page. There's many videos. One of them, look, the one that does the most talking, it went 9.5
What's your
million
username?
views.
What's your
It's
handle
just
on X?
At my first name and last name.
Okay.
Yeah, and if they'll just go to the highlights section, it's right there. And I just want to say one last thing about Candace. I genuinely like and enjoy Candace. I mean, I genuinely do. There was absolutely no reason for her to begin to ghost me back in October, other than the fact of she didn't know what to do with me, in my opinion. Because I've always counted us and thought of us as on the same team. I really have. I still do. And it warranted just a little bit of an explanation, especially given I think everyone has seen the phone call and her true delight in the incredible quality of the video.
Yeah, I hope you
And
guys can work that
I do too,
out.
because I genuinely and I have way more stuff. Like I hate that I feel like I was like, all right, I'm done letting Candace know stuff. I didn't want to be like that, because I'm like, Candace, like something's up with Candace. I hate being like, damn, you know, hey Candace, like you should know that the Patsy on the roof was in communication with someone by the tent, because that person on the roof got into position at the moment that Hunter Kozak got up to the microphone. Do y'all think that's coincidence? No, they were in communication. Because Hunter Kozak was the question asker, the detonated question and asker. Hunter Kozak was that person. The person on the roof, that Patsy, was in communication, because you can't hear back there. You can't hear 140 yards away with all of that. Like, he had to have been told when to get up to the, not the edge, but just close enough to where he could be videoed and seen. Someone right there by the tent was talking to him.
So here's how,
that's not Tyler.
Here's how I think the smaller content creators help boost each other's platforms is when you have information, when you're ready to post a video, you say, hey, friends, like help one another. When you post something, then right away go repost it, comment on it, and help each other. So, I mean, the bigger content creators, I love them and everything. They do a really good job of boosting up each other, but a smaller ones to help give the platform and visibility can join together in that way, and to help boost each other up, and then help each other grow in that way until and then remember, when you get on top, remember the smaller guys to boost those, and not just the ones with the 250,000 followers. Because it's right. Not just the big guys that need this. It's bringing up the middle guys, then the lower, the smaller guys, the tiny guys like me, to so that it amplifies every voice. So there's not just the elite voices on top being heard. So that that it's that, because that's how the world works right now, and it doesn't work when you have the elite running the things. Like, we need everybody.
It is. It's a collective effort, and I mean, like, I can't tell you how valuable Brandy has been, just being boots on the ground there. I mean, like, truly, what you're doing is truly valuable. So I want to say thank you for that, because
Thanks.
It's perspective and angle that we would not have. No one else is doing that, and like we're all just normal people. I work a normal job. I have a normal life. I can't just jump in my plane and fly up to Provo and cover this trial and have everything go perfectly. I mean, that's
You should
tough.
for the
That
next
would be.
step, though.
I know,
We
and
can the trial
yeah,
if you want.
no, it's starting to get good now. Things are starting to. We're getting to the point where Grandpa says they got to shit or get off the pot type of thing, and
Yeah.
it's about to get real good because the prosecutors are having to basically show things that justify what
they're
Tyler
saying.
has been going through over the last. It'll be 8 months at that point, almost 9 months, if not 9 months. I can't imagine being in that district attorney's office knowing what video is actually there showing, and the fact that it's going to be something that I don't know how they answer. Why did you keep this kid in custody and charged with aggravated
Right.
murder and the death penalty when you knew all of this? I'm telling you right now, it is not going to be good for Jeff Gray and company when this comes out, because they knew all of this and yet they continued on. There's no way you can be like, oh, well, we just didn't know he was maybe not up close to the edge of the roof and he stayed back 6 feet, and oh, well then like there's no way you can explain that away other than the fact that you were intentionally trying to railroad this kid or drag this thing out. And I can't wait to see what happens. It's going to be
Yeah.
absolutely fascinating. And
Do you
you know
think
what? Every
they'll try
district
to
attorney.
bail? Do you think they'll
Oh,
try
I
to
had-
just go ahead and bail on trying to prosecute Tyler?
If they care about their career and their freedom, absolutely. You come out and you say, this is absolutely, we cannot believe we got this wrong, but there's like, come to find out that was not the rifle. Like the person on the roof never was to the edge. That's why the FBI, I don't know if they pin it on the FBI, because in my opinion, they deliberately trimmed it to the public to show or to not show the actual shot happening, because they knew that he was not to the edge of the roof. So in my opinion, they come out and say that as that should have been done in November, December. So at this point, they've overplayed their hands. And I'm telling you, this will be one of the most monumental cases in our country. Every district attorney is going to absolutely loathe the name of Jeff Gray. Why is that? Because Jeff Gray is going to introduce a level of diabolical manipulation and flat out fabrication that district attorneys do this. And he is giving every district attorney, they are literally the people's voice to prosecute XYZ crimes all across America, day in and day out, year after year. I mean, Jeff Gray is going to introduce this level of diabolical manipulation into what they do, that people from here on out are always going to question the sincerity of what the district attorney does. And they're going to think of it and look at it through the lens of what Jeff Gray did in this case. And I hope he hears this somehow, some way. I know he won't, but literally, I just want your audience to know that they are absolutely lying their asses off, and it's not going to end well for them. They're gonna absolutely crash and burn, because
I'm
that
worried
person on the roof was
AI
not.
video.
What's that,
I'm
Brandy?
sorry.
I'm worried they're going to make some AI video of Tyler
know.
Robinson
I
taking the
know.
shot that's not real.
Yeah.
And we can do
Here's
that.
going to be the problem. They can, and here's where their problem will be. Is there's videos with people that people have that they don't know exist, and if they try and put something out, yes, it probably could be done to be matched up with AI, but one little thing wrong, detail made wrong or done wrong, because you don't know what is out there. Like the fact that there's video with, you can see Brian's, his hand squeeze, like his knuckle. You can see how many knuckles
Yeah.
actually squeeze
Mhm.
as he's detonated under his shirt. stuff like that, that they don't know what actually the public has, because people didn't trust giving. It's just like what happened with Frank Turk this past was it last week? He's in these weeks run together. Whenever Frank was back in Provo or Orem.
He was here last Thursday. I was going to go to that
Thursday.
event, but I was out of town. Yeah.
But it was a shakedown. I mean, can you imagine? Like, it's on video. Frank Turek is asking for people that have video and eyewitness accounts to meet them outside the auditorium there so that they can visit with them. Just think about this for a second. This is Frank Turek, who is absolutely a co-conspirator to this assassination, this aggravated murder. He's up there asking for people, if they've got other video that maybe not has been seen yet, or maybe has an eyewitness account. You've got one of these suspects asking the public for more video and more information just to make sure they don't have any loose ends up there that they need to get tied off.
Precisely.
Absolutely diabolical and evil. I mean, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. And they literally think they're good and they've gotten away with it. You can hear by just his overall attitude of things, and just in how high regard he thinks of Erica. I mean, he put her on a pedestal up there. I mean, they're just it's an echo chamber with everything. But literally, they don't know what they don't know is out. And I would just. But I'm with you, Brandy. I'm afraid of that too. But I hope that we've got some countermeasures that at least they're
like, we have a video of him doing it, and it's gonna be like, how do we know you didn't just make that video?
Right. What do you think? Do you think the attorneys? Do you think the attorneys are on Tyler's side?
No. Going to the trials personally and seeing them interact with the prosecution team, they all talk all the time. They're very friendly with each other, which this is my first trial I've ever been to, so I'm not sure if this is typical, but it seems like they're all buddies and they're all sharing information and they're all in on it. And we'll see when the actual trial starts, because the last three have just been like preliminary stuff, debating on if cameras should be in the courtroom and things like that. But in my opinion, it seems like they're all in on this, which is really disheartening.
Yeah, I have a very cynical approach or view on how district attorneys with defense attorneys work and operate. It basically sways no opinion on me. I think the same thing. Look, if there's one thing that I would say needs to be looked, or if I'm Corey Richens, who was just found guilty, I'm filing an appeal right now on my case that Kathy Nestor just lost, or that the jury found me guilty on. And I'm filing it for a host of different reasons, because they didn't even put up a defense. And I understand that's a strategy in some cases, but it would be absolutely super easy for Corey Richens to basically argue that she didn't have, ineffective counsel on the appeal, as well as, look, what doesn't make sense is Corey Richens had the cameras trained in on her 24/7. You can see Corey Richens talking to her attorneys. You can read their mouths. You can, like, there's video on YouTube.
The girl who lives in Utah, is from Utah, and she killed her husband. With fentanyl, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was in the 3rd District Court. Tyler's in the 4th District Court. The 3rd is up there outside of Park City, and the 4th is down there in Orem. And you look at, and so here's my point with the cameras is, look at what Kathy Nestor is doing, fighting tooth and nail to get the cameras off of Tyler Robinson, not anywhere near him. And yet here she just had her, I'm comparing it to what just happened with Corey Richens just a few months ago or weeks ago. And the cameras are trained in on Corey Richens, and she's laughing in some videos. You can go on right now and look it up on YouTube. So all of this secrecy, all of this level of wanting to keep the public out of it, especially when your client is 100% innocent. We know that that kid, or when I say innocent, I mean innocent of the charge of aggravated murder.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not talking about some other things that he could be involved
Like
in.
maybe he dropped off the gun,
I haven't,
whatever, but like, no,
I
he
haven't
was
seen,
shot.
absolutely, I have not seen one shred of evidence that suggests that Tyler Robinson was even on campus that day. Okay. That person in the stairwell in the tunnels, that is not Tyler. I think that's why we didn't get any video of him. I think it's because they had to basically do some still images, because look, you can find out a whole lot about someone with their gait, with their walk, their mannerisms, just reading that whole thing. And I think that's why, look, it was harder for them to just do a screen grab versus just releasing the video. Like they had to do an extra step of work just to get the public the actual image. It's easier just to put out the video because you're actually screen grabbing it from a video. So why not just put out the video? Why are you doing an extra step of work to conceal something? Yeah, screenshot it. And not only that, but make it where it's like really, it's just, it's crap. It's absolutely crap. And everything about this shows a cover up. And it will be shown. Like this will come out one way or the other. That's why people, I mean, this literally kind of turns into a John Grisham on steroids book or movie, because you've literally got the district attorney, you're going to fry them with them intentionally covering something up. And you're just waiting for them to finish tying the neck around, or the noose around their neck, because they're about to just literally hang themselves. Because once all this happens, like let's say a plea deal is signed, they talked Tyler Robinson into signing a plea deal. They took the death penalty off the table, and he agreed to a second-degree aggravated murder charge where he does 2 years to 20 years in Utah State Jail or state prison. Imagine when that video comes out, say a few weeks later, of the person's not because at that point they stonewall the public, right? Because people like us, when we're like, hey, let's still see the evidence, they're gonna be like, what do you mean? What do you want to see? Why do you want to see it? Brandy, he said he did it. Brandy, Tyler Robinson pled guilty. What do you care? He said he did it. What do y'all need to see anything for? Y'all don't need to see anything.
They're already doing that with the confession.
Absolutely. So guess what's going to happen? But when on a slow news day, when there's not a lot going on, and it might be the summertime and it's a slow day, that video drops, all the video where it shows that they actually railroaded this kid. That actually there's no way that he was taking the shot, because he wasn't even up to the edge. There was 6 feet from him, and that person up there was a patsy. You guys talked an innocent kid into pleading guilty for something he didn't do. And not only that, y'all knew this, and y'all still push forward with it. Imagine that story.
Yeah. I'm afraid that they might
say that I know what you're about to say.
Yeah.
Unaliving himself.
Yeah.
That's why, Brandy, we need people like you've got to keep your engagement locally. You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
let's see. Earlier somebody said they felt like Candace was more talking about the talking heads who were doing the gaslighting and stuff, when she was talking about she wished, only researchers would, have a platform, and that commentators and what is that? Was it commentators? There was another word. Anyways, so they think that that's what she meant. Probably, I hope so. And I know that when you're fighting everybody's, you want to box everybody, you're in fight mode. That can be that too. But also, Brandy, somebody had asked, where have you and Billy been, and what are you up to?
So just to be completely honest with everyone, I work a full-time job. So does Billy. And it's just like been consuming our entire life doing this. And so we kind of just needed a break from it for a minute. But Billy and I are also starting our own podcast too, because we want to build our own personal brands and talk about other topics that we're both interested in. Just me personally just wanted a little bit of a break, but I'm going to get back in on it here shortly. Definitely still going to all the trials and everything. I've been somewhat active on X, but yeah, I'm going to make my own YouTube channel soon. And so I'm not going anywhere.
Do you know the name? What's the name of your YouTube channel going to be?
It's just, well, right now just Brandy Siciliani.
Okay.
But I'm thinking of some other creative names, but I don't know yet, so I'm not going to say it.
And a theme song. You need a theme song. Did you
Yeah,
enjoy
you have
my
a good
theme song?
song. Yeah,
Thank you.
I was like, dang, I need an intro.
Yeah, you can't use an actual song, otherwise your video can't get monetized. So I have to have one of my friends create one.
I wrote my own. I wrote that, and then with the help of
yours
AI,
is
the music.
Like
Yeah. Thank you. So we can look forward to your next video, Blake, you're doing about the necklace theory. When are you going to bring that out?
So if you want an early take on it, and first let me just say, Brandy, to you and Billy, y'all are both rock stars and y'all are gonna do incredible work regardless of that. So I have no doubt and wish you guys both the best. Video for me, I've got a series of lives planned up already, ready to go. Look, one of them is on Phil Lyman. Phil has surprised me. Okay. Phil's got a problem with his story, his timeline. I pigeoned in on it pretty heavily during an X space a few weeks ago. And I hope he accepts my invitation to at least come on and talk about it, because look, Phil was one of the most instrumental people early on that placed himself right there underneath the rifle being fired. Okay. He went on show after show after show talking about the rifle. He even said he recognized it as a 30-06. Okay. And I can show on video that I don't believe Phil was anywhere near the doors when he heard that rifle shot. I believe that was kind of like fantasized. It was a little bit fanatical. Okay. There's some gaps there. And look, I believe right now it looks like he was supposed to be at that door right underneath the rifle for a reason to establish that story. And I can actually even go in and show students who have changed their story, who you can hear them on their own video talking about how the sound was down there, like where it sounded like it was coming from the tent area. And then that same student or students then a couple of days later are talking about it being back up here. Is that because they heard Phil Lyman's firsthand account and he sounded super, super sure of himself? So they're like, oh, well, I don't need to say this. You started seeing everyone start to change their story. And why wouldn't they? Because Phil's got a big following. This is just what it appears.
Didn't Baron Coleman say something about how you can see Phil Lyman in a video mouthing it was a gunshot or something like that? To direct people of what to say.
Brandy, he was all over the place down there. I mean, this guy was moving like a ninja within just a matter of 30 minutes. Okay. Because so he gets up to the top. He's there at the Sorensen Center, the back door. As the shot rings out, he takes 4 steps, turns around, and then he starts to record. And then that's the video we see as he walks up to the railing and video's over. This is where he talks about he saw 2 goth women and they tell the crowd, oh, go F yourselves or something. All of that, absolutely, there's nowhere on record. And I don't think it happened at all, because there's a guy, older, middle-aged man, not with them, standing right there next to him, if you are an old man and you're recording and you hear two women say "go f- yourselves" to the crowd down there, you're at least doing this number.
Right.
This guy doesn't do any look. He's not looking at all. Like, so I believe that was all made up. Why do I think he made it up? Well, it fit in with the trans LGBTQ crowd, that's who did it.
Right.
The bullets say it. Here we've got two girls that are talking shit as people are running for their lives. Y'all, if it looks like a duck and it waddles like a duck, it's a duck. And that's kind of like the concept that Phil was going with. But the only problem is his timeline, like we can match up videos and there's some big time gaps. So, and then after that, yes, he goes downstairs where he's got his campaign manager, and you can see the campaign managers who's actually recording Jeb Jacoby, he's in the red volunteer shirt and feels, I saw Charlie Kirk get shot.
Yeah.
And Phil feels like, like every little syllable,
matching it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, I've got, and the video is very compelling. The case is very compelling. And I hope, especially given the fact that Phil is now trying to be a congressman for the people of the state of Utah, I believe this needs to be talked about, or at least, discussed to explain away. But he's adamant that he was in the doorway right there. And I'm saying there's absolutely no possible way, because the times don't sync up. So anyways, hopefully he'll accept that. We'll talk about it. If people want to go in, my earliest explanation of everything that happened is with Baron Coleman, and it's on my YouTube page on the playlist. My YouTube page is West Texas is the best Texas. That's the handle. The playlist is right there. You can go in and see the very first, where I break it down to Baron Coleman on everything happening. And then I'm going to actually do a new breakdown here, probably over the weekend, where just doing it very deliberate on highlighting the things that need to be highlighted with everything. So that'll be rolling down, but people just, follow my X page. That's the best. That's where I fight the frontline battles.
Yeah, well, you're kind of getting bloody out there.
I am. I really am. And
everybody is.
Yeah, everybody is.
We all
like I said, I can write
to not start any drama or participate in it, because
I genuinely, Brandy, and like Teresa, like I do not want to start drama. I don't. It's not fun.
And then if you go after someone,
completely agree.
You, and it's
I completely agree.
One guy on X who is just really mean, and he's going after everyone, and he's nasty, and but he's also on the other side that Tyler Robinson did it, and Erica Kirk is the saint and stuff. So
well, it's the people that are on the side of truth. That's the disappointment is the people going at each other's throats who are supposed to
on
be
our
here.
Side. It's like, let's not go after each other.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for being here. It was really nice that you could come on, Blake. And I know you had reached out on X, and then I didn't hear back from you. So I didn't know if that was because of all the drama that was going on. And you're like, I don't know who to trust. It's scary because I spoke to one of the people on X. They had sent me the link to what Laura Loomer had said about the Mitch interview. And then I had reached out to them because I was interested in talking to them and wanted to know more about their theories. And then they screenshot. I didn't say anything weird or off in our screenshots, but in our private conversation, but they screenshotted the private conversation that was a nothing burger and decided to post a private conversation. I'm like, what? You can't even say anything to anybody anymore without being afraid they're going to screenshot. Like there was nothing there, but just the fact of, a private conversation isn't a private conversation anymore. Sad. That's a sad state.
Yes. And so like, I completely agree with absolutely everything you're talking about. And I actually, I'm going to admit, like, I have shared just the beginning part of Candace's text messages with me. Number one, to establish the fact that I'm not bullshitting and
Yeah.
that people need to take this serious. But I have reached out multiple times, and there is absolutely no reason for her to just ghost me. I mean, I am the most down the middle. Like, I have been consistent from day one. I think something exploded under his t-shirt. And as soon as the Mitch story broke, I didn't finish this thought earlier. Let me finish it real quick because so I got video that this guy had nothing. That was the same week that the Fort Huachuca story broke. I
Mm-hmm.
just went back and isolated Brian Harpole because I was like, let's just watch Brian real good. And I'll be damned if it's not right there in front of my face that Brian Harpole has got something on his body that he's playing with. And then you start really honing in on everything that's related to what Brian Harpole's doing with the audio guy signaling to Dan Flood that there's a problem with the audio. There's no
Mm-hmm.
reason for this, like the AV team, to be talking to the head of security for TPUSA that then goes and calls Brian right over, and Brian has to turn or disarm the weapon. There's no
Yeah,
reason
that's
for that.
interesting.
I
Yeah.
mean, there's zero other than the fact that they had something on Brian that was interfering with the audio. They didn't, and they needed to do it covertly and needed Brian to turn it off in his pocket. That is
Mm-hmm.
when this whole thing broke. I went to Barron. I pitched it to Barron. He's like, okay, yeah, let's, I think you got something here to say the least. Let's put it on a show. So anyways, that all of that is where things dramatically turned for me, where I literally thought that the kid doing this is who detonated the weapon under his shirt. And then come to find out he's just a decoy. The Fort Huachuca story happened and everything started to click. And then bam, we've got Brian Harpole with actually controlling, turning on, turning off, arming, disarming the weapon. And then like Brandy, Travis, I mean, Travis's video, you know who I'm talking about, the guy that I was trying to find, the poor
the
gentleman that,
hands.
yeah, Tattoo
Okay.
Travis, you know, traumatized Tattoo Travis,
Yeah.
you know, his video. Guess what's on his videos? Brian Harpole messing with the weapon, you know,
Oh, the
like,
one I texted you.
yeah. So anyways, this is kind of how that whole thing came to be or fell into place. But I look at it with this lens right here is Candace Owens has absolutely no reason not to just, at least at the very minimum, give me an explanation why this video that I know she has, that she was enthralled with, intrigued with, that was just, oh my God, this is the most insane, incredible footage, why it just has not made it anywhere near her live stream for 8 months or 6 months, 7 months, whatever, 4 months, 3 months. I mean, I tried to find out many times. It's not like I just went like off the seat of my pants to and did this. Like, this was something that I literally tried. And then not only that, but I tried to be like, hey, like I'm such a fanboy that I recorded this. I have it all. Like, tell me why. Like, you are the biggest investigator in this case. Tell me why this has not gone anywhere. And I mean, it's still, I haven't got an explanation.
Yeah.
I don't want to be this way, but look, this is serious. This is not like entertainment. It's not. Like, I don't look at this as entertainment. Like, I mean, I just don't. I'm not trying to drag anything out.
Yeah.
I want to go back to just living a normal life and not doing this shit, to be completely honest with y'all. And I'm not going to just quit.
In true sales, yes, perfect. And in true sales fashion, if somebody can't help you get what you want done, then you just hit it harder. You hit it harder and you go bigger on your stream and make it blow up. Make it blow up. Keep talking, keep speaking loudly, keep advocating for yourself and promoting yourself, and you'll get there. We'll all get there.
I agree.
Gotta block out the haters, guys.
Yes, and block out the haters. My
There's a
gosh,
few.
there's so much out there.
It's always the wildest anonymous accounts too, you know, like it's hard justifying you're talking to somebody that's got a freaking cat as their profile picture. And they're the most critical. You're like,
somebody last week.
Your profile picture.
Yeah, somebody last week on my channel, they had commented, oh, like you're such a narcissist thinking that people care about what you want, and people just think if they look good, they can get on and everybody cares about what they say. And sometimes I often ignore or whatever, but sometimes I'll get snarky back. And I did with him. I said, yeah, look at you, a narcissist on my channel, thinking people care about what you have to say.
It's wild. Absolutely wild. Yeah,
well,
we could do a movie on this. We could do a reality show with this. I mean, this is literally the psyop of all psyops. Like Chase Hughes could take some of the stuff that I've done, and he could turn it into a multi-series thing on YouTube or his channel, talking on the psyop of this, because this has been incredible. Absolutely,
there could be a reality show about creators for real, for podcasters. Really good.
It's intense. It's intense. Yeah.
It really is. So
that's why I'm not doing this ever again. I am done when this thing is done.
We'll see. Maybe there'll be something else that catches your attention.
We're all
Brandy,
now.
You're gonna, well, I mean, you can't quit now.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Brandy, what is you're going to be at the next hearing, which is the 17th, April 17th? Is that what day it is?
Let me look at my phone.
Anyways, I was thinking about coming out again. If I come out again, we'll have to go to the Cowboy Steakhouse. Did you ever get out to the Cowboy Steakhouse?
No.
Since that story. I want to go with you. Let's go.
But yeah, we can talk about this offline, but you can stay with me if you want. We can go together.
Perfect. That'd be great.
Yeah.
This is not the one that had the continuance, right? This one's still. Oh yeah, no.
This is about the media again.
The media.
Yeah.
Yeah. The actual trial doesn't start till May.
If it goes through. Yeah,
and I think
I'm definitely coming in May.
Well, I think that'll be pushed.
I mean,
think so too. I think that was the motion that was just dropped.
You can't just defend 600,000 files and be like, you got till May to go through them. Like, what?
Yeah, so 69-page motion. It's not been ruled on yet, but this will probably be ruled on actually in that April hearing for the continuance. But I'm not going to pass up Utah in the summertime, so I'll be up there that direction. I don't think anything's going to happen in May now with this. I think this continuance, if everything holds the way it does, with the discovery and just the fact that it seems that the state's waiting on stuff from the feds. I think it's going to be exciting next few months. Let's put it that way.
So there's a date, April 3rd, the state has to respond here to what this last filing was, and then April 10th, a redress by the defense. So yeah, who knows? But yeah, okay, cool. Well, I really appreciate both of you. Brandy, I know you're amazing. Blake, I like what I've seen from you so far.
Thank you.
And I look forward to your next videos too. I want to see that necklace theory in detail.
Gotcha.
But anyways, yeah, we'll go look at it, and I will get your links and post and put them in the YouTube here so that people can just click on them when they rewatch do the replay and all of that. But I appreciate you both.
Well, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yes, me too. You guys go follow them, take a look at their videos, keep up on what Brandy's doing next, and we'll see you all soon. Thanks for being here. Please like, subscribe,